What I talked about yesterday is what is happening with Islam in this country. What I'd like to talk about now is why the politicians are allowing it. And the harsh truth is that the politicians are letting Islam grow so fast amongst us precisely because of the bad effects that it has. Those bad effects, the sense of division, the sense of loss of independence, the sense of home no longer being home, crime, violence, hostility, balkanization. Those bad effects, those are not an unfortunate byproduct of an otherwise benevolent policy. Those things are the policy. And the reason is because it makes us, you, me, everyone, easier to rule. That's not conspiracy. That is simply ambitious people doing what it's in their interest to do, as most of us do most of the time. It's incentivized groupthink. Because it works, it grows. And every violent thug, every violent boyfriend, every tin pot dictator understands this. If you grind people down, if you take away their sense of independence, if you divide them, you make them more manageable, you make them easier to control. And that is what politicians, rulers, as a class want. It gives them more power if we become easier to rule. That's pretty straightforward. And they can't, in a democratic system, they can't go for the outright open violence and suppression. So they have to use subtler methods, perhaps using proxies, creating other problems which render us more dependent upon them and bolster up their position and increase their status and their sense of power. And if you doubt that, then ask yourself, what possible benefits are there for allowing Islam within our country? Sit down with a pencil and paper and write down all the nice things that you think exist in this country and see if you can find one of them which depends upon the presence of Islam or is helped in any way at all by the presence of Islam. And see what answer you come up with. Again, if you doubt this, look at the question of immigration. Every year we're told that action will be taken on immigration numbers, and every year it seems that immigration goes up, particularly Islamic immigration. Politicians say they have to fight for every vote, and yet they won't fight for those votes, even though the votes from the polling would appear to be big. Over the last 15 years, whenever a public poll has been conducted across Britain or the whole of Europe, or anywhere in Europe, what has been found is that one of the top three issues is concern about immigration, usually with a thumping majority, somewhere between about 60 and 85%. And what that means is yet the politicians won't deal with it, because what they have in effect is a cartel where they have an understanding not to go against issues which benefit their own power as a group, as a class. Now they may talk about the public interest on that issue, but they will act out of self-interest. Their promises there are as phony as a Theresa May Happy Ramadan video.
It has been said that on Eid al-Fitr, it seems as though all the noise suppressed for a whole month has concentrated itself within one night. It is certainly a time for great celebration and joy, as we're seeing in Muslim communities across the country today.
Again, if you doubt that, ask yourself, if it's incompetence, if they're just idiots, why do all the mistakes go all the same way right across the whole continent? Incompetence is random and chaotic. This is all in one direction, continent-wide. Again, if you doubt this, look at Brexit. Brexit shows us exactly the same thing. The EU increases politicians' power because it gives politicians the opportunity to rule us via the back door by delegating legislation, by outsourcing it to the European Union, and effectively it denies us day-to-day democratic accountability. So they don't want to get rid of that, because if they get rid of that, that reduces their power. It makes ruling a tougher job for them. So they're pretending to be incompetent buffoons, really because they don't want to get rid of this thing which increases their power. So we cannot expect politicians ever to solve this problem. They will never address it. Don't expect that. They won't. And next time, what I want to talk about is why the embarrassing question of why we are allowing our politicians to do that, why we are sitting by and letting them do that. I'll talk about that next time. Thank you.